with life. It's so precious and it's so delicate.
Love. Without love, you don't have either of the other two.
The leadership stance that you take in your life, though, I think is directly correlated to the amount of love you have in your life.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the L3 Perspective, where we talk life, love, leadership. Happy to be back for another episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Cam, how you feeling today, man?
Good, man. I'm tired. Weddings make me tired. So for those of you that don't know, my wife and I are doing our ceremony in a couple weeks. And so that's the whole premise of the mountain house that I keep talking about. And so current juncture or project is building a platform for people to sit on, dance on, whatever. So it's a good time. And California decided to heat up this weekend. So, it's all good.
105, 106, 107.
Whole bunch of vitamin D. That's why I still have energy. That's why I'm still. My boy's like, "How do you keep doing it?" I was like, "I don't know. I think the sun's giving me energy, bro." What's up with you though?
Man, everything's great. Everything's great. A lot of blessings within the storm. Happy to be talking about this particular episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So before we get started, y'all, per the usual, like, love, subscribe, share it, message us, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. At the end of the day, we do it for y'all. That's why every week we put these out, just talking about life, love, and leadership, and how they really impact every single facet of our everyday lives. And outside the box thinking about each subject, not just kind of your typical definition Webster thoughts. And so that being said, today we announced the end of season 1.
You should have put a pause there. Folks might think that this was the end of it all. Nah, so the end of season 1.
It's the end of season 1.
I was sitting back, just kind of briefly mention this to you, but about 25 minutes ago, I was sitting back thinking about, the pilot that we were about to film and how, just how inexperienced I was as a podcaster, as just being in front of the lens. I absolutely, hated it. And so obviously through 39 weeks of practice, I've gotten a little bit more comfortable, but more importantly, man, that feeling that I had when I was like of excitement, of like joy, of like, man, this is an idea now executed. Like I still have that feeling today, and that's a beautiful thing, man. I'm just grateful. I'm just as grateful on the pilot as I am on this episode. 39 weeks, brother.
I mean, what is it? Most podcasts don't make it past episode 20 or something like that. So, double up, mug. I know it's crazy to think, especially considering there's 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
So it's like, have we really been doing this for over almost 3/4 of a year?
Right.
Lightweight. And
39 weeks consistently.
For real. And so, no, I feel you, man. And that's the whole point. Like, you're supposed to be as excited about it every single time you do it, right? And so, and progressively, and I was talking to someone the other day, and he was like, bro, I have seen the progression from like when you and Glenn first started to where you guys are at now, like content, graphics, like all of it. And so, that being said, I was just like, hey, I appreciate you, bro. Like, I mean, we obviously tried. Like, it didn't just happen.
Hey, it's funny because, in the beginning, I had to borrow my sister-in-law's
the
backdrop stand. You invested in the black the black fabric. It's funny where in that moment we were just like, we have a great vision. We want to get it out to people, and obviously we were very big also on quality, and so we didn't just want to throw anything out there. But I thought we were doing something with the black backdrop. And thanks to your VA and, our supportive team, been able to execute and really elevate and grow the podcast in the last 39 weeks, man.
Yeah, the mics that were anchored to the chair.
Right. Yeah,
We got stands now, guys.
yeah. I was super excited about purchasing my first podcast microphone, man. That was like a big milestone for me because I was like, again, going back to the L3
Mm,
perspective vision just being on the board to like it now being executed years later. To
hmm.
me, purchasing my first,
Yeah.
podcast microphone. Now, thanks to you, I was gifted uh, one a real quality one from sure.
I mean, that was quality. We just
No, it was, yeah,
we had to upgrade.
right,
Um, and so no, man. I mean, the progression for real. And that's the whole point. Like we talked about, do we like first of all, how do people decide how to end seasons? Like that's like question number one. So any podcasters out there, if there is some like magic formula, like I didn't Google it because I wanted it to be like
yeah,
somewhat unplanned, but like if there's a legitimate calendar like a television show, let us know because we. But that being said, summer brings the time of evolution. Kids going to next grades. All parents spending more time with their kids because their kids are on summer breaks. There's all types of things that evolve, and so
mhm,
we decided it was a good time for us to evolve as well. For about a month and a half, we'll be back mid August
mhm,
with season two. We'll still be creating and making things happen, but when we come back in August, we want to be that much more elevated.
yeah,
And so, just like a television show, we're gonna go back to the drawing board. Hey, what are the lessons we learned?
yeah,
How do we make them better? And realistically, in between that time, we would love for y'all to let us know, hey, this is what I really liked about season one, or this is maybe what I didn't like, because then we can take those changes and take them into consideration as we go on to season two.
yeah. I think that as we talk about or even have the title life, love, leadership. I think when it comes to life, when it comes to doing something that you absolutely love, and you're a leader within, you have to know when to take the knee.
Mm-hmm.
And like not take a knee just because you're out of breath, but take the knee to really regroup, especially when you got a
Yep.
team, to regroup with the team to talk about the next level vision, right?
Facts.
But yes, it's funny because when we started, as we were going through the podcast episodes, I was just like, at what point do you end your season? So it's funny you mentioned that. And then I was just like, well, I don't know, we'll just keep rocking. And then when we talked about it, I was like, man, we're gonna end it on 39. Maybe we should end it on 40. I was like, nah, this is the perfect time. We're gonna end it on episode 39.
Yep. And who knows? Maybe next time season two will end on episode 20. Who knows?
Hey, that's true. That's
And
true.
then it'll just be less of a break. It'll be like a 2 week break or a 3 week
Yeah.
break or something like that.
And speaking of episodes, man, I will say that every guest that we've had on, I've been very grateful. Every episode that we were about to start, I was excited going into it. There
Mhm.
wasn't that one person I was just like, ah, man, I don't know about this one. And so it was kind of cool just to continuously have those conversations with just good
Mhm.
people, right? And all different walks of life, but can tie into life, love, leadership. So especially our guests giving like practical principles of what's actually worked for them based off of their experience in their said industry.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think like I tell everyone is the podcast at the end of the day is an opportunity not only for us to talk about things, but honestly, a lot of times it can be like a conduit to
Yeah.
actually sit down and like talk to somebody. So like Mike Sarge, when we
Hmm.
had him on the show, I was introduced to him from a friend of mine, and then once we talked, I was like, "Oh man, you should meet Glenn, and you should come on the show." And so that
Hmm.
was really cool. And then like Curtis, you know, I've known Curtis for a long time. We had talked maybe once before, but this was the first time we like really really talked, and it was
Hmm.
all because of the podcast. And so as you like think about kind of like our guests and where they came from, they all have risen from some
Yeah.
type of challenge, right? Whether JB and what he made
Hmm.
happen, um, the Corbins and for the military now to like t-shirt, conglomerate, uh, and so there's
Yeah.
like it's just cool to kind of see it all go down, like, and then you
Yeah.
were a part of it.
Yeah. It's cool too, man. Like to see how inspiring some of those their stories are for people who are just like they feel
Mhm.
like they're just stuck.
Yeah.
And to see that, like, man, I thought I had it bad. They when they shared their story, they had it twice as bad, but yet they were still able to overcome those obstacles and be resilient, man. Like that, I think that's one of the biggest things that I appreciate about our platform. Just being able to be a platform where folks can have a voice, and you just never know whose life you may you may impact,
Hmm.
in a positive way.
Facts. I think one of the things I like I took one of the big ones I took with me like initially was like Chris Pollard when he said the check thing. Like, yo, like, is
Yeah,
this like really what I'm worth, man? Like,
yeah,
and he's killing it now, and that was cool because now me and him are connected and we've had conversations about things and that's the whole point of it, right? It's all like
yeah,
it's all about connecting. And so it was really cool to like really kind of intermingle our
yeah,
circles
yeah.
and then like learn from one another. Like I think that was my favorite part, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It was a lot of people. I mean, again, just kind of going back to those stories, and I've learned so much in this process. I've learned, some things from you, especially on the tech side. You know what I mean? Like, there's been a really growth process, a growth. There's been a lot of growth happening, and based off of what you were just saying, I feel like people really don't understand the power of networking or the power of collaborations, right? And so, like you
Yeah.
talking about us intermingling our circles, being able to have this platform, that's what it's made for. I mean, it's
Hmm.
almost like I remember sharing with someone about the idea of the podcast, and just like, fortunately, God has blessed me to be around some very dope individuals, right? I mean, like in my immediate circle, and I was like, some of the conversations that we have behind the scenes, it would be selfish of me to not expose some of that to the world. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there's so much hurt and so many people who need to be healed, and that can be healed, based off of the people that you and I know. And so, I'm just happy to keep this going, man. This partnership has been amazing. We've grown all the way from podcasters to individuals to leaders to business owners to you know fathers, husbands, just all the way around. And I think that that's the life, love, leadership experience, man. Just knowing
Hmm.
that you can blend all three of those too, and we got a lot of stuff in store, a lot of ideas on the whiteboard that we haven't even released yet.
So what do you think are some of like what are some of your like big takeaways that you took away from the season?
um
Since now
how
this
important
idea that was on the whiteboard came to life.
Yeah. How important consistency is, number one. Um,
Mm,
I, I I'm in a I've talked about my season, right? I'm in this season of life where I probably have never been as consistent with so many things in my life, right? And
mm,
so one of the biggest takeaways is the consistency, because as a father, husband, etc., it's really held me to hold myself accountable. And so,
mm,
that's number one. Number two, I remember, I think in the pilot or episode one, we were just kind of talking about well, where could this thing go, right? And we were just like, hey, it has the possibility to go wherever. And like,
yeah.
I believed it then, like just kind of in that statement, just because being a visionary. But like now, I'm like, there's so many things that I have written down. I'm like, look, this could touch this point. This could touch this
Mm,
point. This is, just for us to expand, um, and continue collaborating and continue networking and expanding around the nation. So those are a couple of things. How about you, man?
I think the biggest thing, realistically, like, and that I think anyone can really take away from the show is just sometimes one, don't quit.
Yeah,
You don't have to go super fast, but just don't stop.
yeah,
Like foot in front of foot, toe in front of toe.
hmm,
That's the biggest thing because a lot of our guests, they had they had lightweight the excuse to quit. They had
right,
they had plenty of reasons to just throw in the towel, and at the end of the day, they chose, you know what, hey, like progress over perfection, you know, like
Yeah,
just step by step. And so that was the biggest thing. And it was really nice to just hear so many other stories like that. Cause like you know, you hear them. But I would say doing the podcast, I definitely heard a lot more that I could like really relate with,
for sure.
you
Yeah,
know, not just like, oh, you had a bad day, but
yeah,
you know, like JB, like he had all the reasons to just not make it happen, and all he did, and that's what he did, was make it happen, you
yeah,
know, and he's killing it. You know, or the Corbins, not the Corbins, the Cheathens, you know, they could have
yeah,
just chopped it up like, hey, we just gonna be in death forever, like everybody else,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're just like, and you know, and they're just like, no, like we have to lead our family to better.
yeah. I think two very important episodes for me that really like that had me deep in thought in the moment was, you know, when we had our first in person
Oh yeah, with Mike.
episode with Mike Holloway at Vanden High School, just being able to sit in that gym and know that my son played in that. And, I'm talking to the man who's not only a friend or brother, but also a coach and leader who has really opened up doors for so many kids. And my oldest son being one of those kids,
Yeah,
to be present, sitting on that logo and look around and see all the banners and, Omari having two of those banners. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And so that was pretty dope. And then the other one was when we traveled 18 hours to Rico. Now when
Travel
we
to
traveled out there,
the whole other side to California.
no, and that was a pretty dope conversation. Those two episodes too, in particular, um, just talking about like settings, like from
Yeah,
lighting to positioning. Like I think I learned a lot just having that, because the one thing our conversations are, they're always organic,
yeah.
and so. But I realized I was like, oh man, like maybe we should position this here or position this here or
Hmm.
position us here. But again, just small lessons learned, man. But again, two dope episodes out of the 39 other dope
Hmm.
ones, or of the 37. So yeah, man, it's been a good
That's not.
ride so far.
It's been a good ride. So yeah, man. I mean, as we close out, I mean, realistically, we wanted to take this time to really just kind of say thank you to all you guys that really rocked
Yeah.
with us. That's what
Hmm.
kept us going, you know, because like we said earlier, a lot of people, um, podcasting is hard. I will tell you,
Yeah.
like on your mental, because you want to make sure you bring the best show for people. And it starts out slow. You know, we're not obviously not big celebrities or nothing like that. And you know, we're doing this while doing 13 other jobs and all these other things. But we enjoy it so much that we keep it pushing. And so for those of you who are listening, like we really truly appreciate the time you took out of your day, to really like have the conversations with us
Hmm.
and share our stuff and give us feedback or give us guests. And all I say we ask is we're gonna keep running clips, so don't think that all of a sudden like everything's just gonna stop. Like it's not just gonna
Yeah.
stop. We're gonna start refreshing some of this stuff because especially for those who might have joined our followership later in the
Hmm.
game, you'll start seeing some of that firsthand content,
Yeah.
the black backdrop and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so you might get a kick out of it, and it'll actually show you the contrast of just how hard we've worked to really
Hmm.
just like consistently try and make the product better for you all. And
Yeah.
all we ask is keep rocking with us. We'll be back in August, and share it, share it with people. Hey,
Yeah.
check out this podcast. Is dope.
Hmm.
Even if it's the first couple minutes, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But that's all. That's really all we ask is, hey, share the love that we have for you guys with the rest of the world. Change the
Yeah.
world.
And Cam, publicly, man, I want to give you your flowers too, man, and let you know. I mean, I know I express daily my appreciation for you, but like realistically, the time, energy, and effort away from your family, the money you've poured into this to create or to help execute the vision, man, is definitely appreciated. And so I'm glad to have a partner like you. I'm glad to be rocking with somebody on the microphone with you as well. because of the lives that we will touch. And we just getting started, not even scratching the surface of everything that we have our hands involved in. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, I wanted to pass that on to you.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me into the vision. I remember, well, like we've talked about before. Like I've been looking to do this for a long time, and you say, "Hey, I got something on a whiteboard," and then we talked, and realistically, you allowed me to share in this. You could have not. It was your idea, so you could be like, "Nah, man, it's mine. It's all mine." Uh, so no, I loved it, and I've loved doing this, and so no, I appreciate you doing that for me, man, and just allowing me because it's helped me a lot. So that being said, man,
Yes, yes,
we appreciate y'all.
for sure.
We'll be
We
back.
definitely
We'll be back
appreciate
in a
y'all.
couple weeks.
Yes, yes.
And but with that being said, like, love, share. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We'll see
The
you
L3
guys soon.
perspective, baby. See season 2.
Life, love, and leadership. Peace.
With life, it's so precious and it's so delicate.
Love. Without love, you don't have either of the other two.
The leadership stance that you take in your life, though, I think is directly correlated to the amount of love you have in your life.